everybody, and welcome to episode 89 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who is Mario with me tonight?
Mario? Michael King Boo Hughes.
And Austen from Trash Talk Podcast.
Hey, Austen, welcome back. It's been a while since we had you on.
It's been a while, but I'm glad to be back. And this game is a lot more fun than that Spider-Man game.
Oh, God. Which one was
Spider-Man
it?
Game. Spider-Man, the animated series game for Genesis.
Oh, the Genesis Super Nintendo one? Yeah, that's rough.
Yep.
This was a lot easier in comparison.
That was a shitty game.
Yeah.
And then you were also on the Street. We did the Street Fighter movie thing we did together. That was also a shitty thing.
That was fun, though. Like, not a good movie, but it was fun. It was fun to talk about.
The recording was fun.
It's better than Double Dragon.
The recording was fun. Yeah, not so much the movie.
Yeah, you are. No, I can't remember. I watched Double Dragon 2 for the show, unfortunately, but I can't remember that either.
It's bad.
All right, enough of that. I'm going to introduce what we're going to be talking about. Well, actually, Trav, why don't you say where people might know you from real fast? I know you kind of said it, but let's go in more detail if you want.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm the main host of Trash Talk Podcast. We break down a movie, TV show, a video game, or a comic book every week. We drink while we do it. And yeah, Trash Talk Podcast, that's pretty much the whole gist. Pretty simple.
And before I do introduce what we're talking about, because I'm doing this all wrong apparently, we should give a quick shout out to our buddy that's been on the show before, Adam America. You would have heard him on a few of the Silent Hill episodes he was on recently. He's the last thing he's been on that you would have heard. He started his own. Oh yeah, Pokemon Snap too. I forgot about that. Oh, I need my life back. I need to be done moving. He started his own podcast, Talk Games, Chew Bubblegum. You will see a link in the show notes. It just went live as of today at this recording. So by the time you hear it, there should be 2 episodes up. So definitely check that out and give him a listen. All right, now that we got the house cleaning out of the way, I'm going to introduce what we're going to be talking about tonight. This is actually one of the few times it actually is a game my mom found. We're going to be talking about Luigi's Mansion for GameCube that came out back in
2001.
Hey, at least it wasn't 2002.
That's very close. Yeah, you talk about cleaning house. We did a lot of that in this game.
Yes. Oh, before I get into this game, I do want to say, I had never finished this game until just this week for the show. My mom actually bought, when my mom got me a GameCube, I wanted Smash Brothers. She got me Smash Brothers, and she bought me this game too, so I'd have more than one game to play. And I remember I never finished it. I played a little bit, and I'm just and I got stuck midway through the game, and I just never picked it back up.
I mean, you got Melee. What else do you really need?
Yeah, I only wanted Melee. I mean, I appreciate that she did that for me, but I just want Melee. I'm good. That's all we played. I played a lot of Melee.
That's good. I love Smash.
Austin, do you have any history with this game?
No. I've never had a Nintendo system until this year where I got a Switch. I've always wanted to play Luigi's Mansion because growing up, the only Nintendo game I ever played was on my neighbor's N64 for Mario 64. And I love that. I always wanted to check out Luigi's Mansion because that's always, I'm a big horror fan, but never played it until now. So when you offered to come on and play this, I was like, hell yeah. But yeah, no history with this game.
Okay. Well, that's a good way to go into our second Spooktober game, or Spooktember game, we should say, right? I don't even know.
I can't remember if I had this when it came out or not, because I'm no mathematician, but I'm pretty sure 2001 was about 50 years ago.
That's what it feels like.
So I can't remember that far back. I know I definitely played it. And I think the copy I own is actually my former roommate's copy from back in Ohio. So sorry, Brandon, I'm pretty sure I still have your game.
I'm pretty sure he probably doesn't care.
It's a good game.
It is a good game, but, I mean, that was a long time ago.
Fair.
So, Luigi, I mean, I was excited to replay Luigi, or finish Luigi's Mansion. I had forgotten a lot about this game. All I remembered is how it starts off with him winning a mansion, I think, at the beginning of this thing.
Yeah, he wins a mansion in a contest that he didn't enter.
That's never fishy.
Yeah.
And did Mario go there first, then?
Egad says
what the story
that,
is again?
Yeah, Egad says that Mario went looking for Luigi and went into the house and didn't come out. Something like that.
Okay.
Plot's not real big in this game. You don't really need it.
Plot don't matter. I mean, it's all Luigi goes looking for Mario. I mean, that's essentially the story.
Yeah, Mario is pretty much the princess in this version that he has to save.
Hey, Mario is missing.
No. Nope.
I beat that game, actually.
Yeah, I beat it too. We don't need to.
Yeah, not now. Someday. So it starts off interesting. I mean, it starts off like a Mario game, even though it's not really a Mario game. I mean, I also want to say, isn't this Luigi's first game that they ever had him starring in?
other than the one you just mentioned. Yeah.
Well, Mario's missing is Luigi, but it's the same sprite as Mario.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, they took the exact same sprite from Super Mario World, gave him a green hat, and said, there you go. They didn't even bother to give any of Luigi's key characteristics that had already been invented.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a bad game. But so this is...
You said it's a Mario game, but not really a Mario game, and it kind of sets that tone as soon as you turn the power on, and you get the Nintendo logo and the spooky voice reading it, Nintendo. So it immediately sets the tone that this isn't quite a Mario adventure that you would expect.
Oh, and it's not a platformer either.
Constantly reminding you about Mario in this, because anytime you accidentally click that one button, he's going, Mario!
You can press X to Jason.
I get that joke, unfortunately. No, I forgot. Like when I was getting ready to replay this game, I remember that it existed, but I couldn't remember how you did it. And then when I went to press A, when I was trying to open a door or do something that I missed, I heard Mario, Mario, and I'm like, oh, that's how that works.
Yeah, my wife was watching me play. She's like, why does he keep saying that? I'm like, that's whenever I try to interact with something but don't quite line it up right.
Or just press the button while walking.
Oh yeah, all the time.
You know, it's really like it is a little spooky. I mean, not really spooky, but it's spooky for a Mario game.
Yeah, it's spooky as Nintendo would allow until the game they released next year. Which,
And I like how the whole idea is that, like, at least in the game starts off, you have nothing. Like, this is not a platformer at all. This is just an adventurer type game where, like, even when you open the doors, anytime you use a key, I skip this animation every single time after the first time. He opens the door as slow as he can, like he's terrified of what's behind the door.
Yeah.
For
a Nintendo game, I would imagine for kids at that point, like really young kids, would probably get some scares out of this game. Like the atmosphere they build in it is, for a Nintendo game, is fairly scary for like kids.
Yeah.
Moments. I jumped a few times, but that was more like, what the fuck? Oh, damn, another enemy I gotta kill. But,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is the first instance of Luigi being a coward, too. Because I know it carried on in the Mario and Luigi games, so that would have been after this, I think.
I can't remember. That would have been. I know it was Game Boy Advance, but I can't remember the year.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure this was a launch title for the GameCube.
It wasn't a launch title. Just Pikmin and Smash Brothers Melee were launch titles.
I'm looking up to see what was the first Luigi game. Apparently in 2013, there was a Dr. Luigi game for the Wii.
Oh, yeah. So, on the eShop.
That's pretty bad.
Luigi doesn't have many games.
Yeah. Mario and Luigi was 2003 in the Game Boy Advance.
Okay, so that's way past this. But it hasn't, it's just interesting. Like, and also like how big of the flashlight plays in this game. And we had just played this right after Alan Wake, so all I could think of was Alan Wake. But I like that the whole concept is he's in this mansion, and like the first part when he goes in the room, he opens a locked door, you have, he's everything's all cold, he's, shaking in fear. Like I like that whole idea. And then the ghost scares him. He drops down to his ass. He's like, "Oh no!" And which it works. And then you get Professor Gad, which is
Professor Egad.
Is he like? He reminds me of a little child. He reminds me of like Benjamin Button. I mean, that's all I can think of. Like he acts like a child, but he looks like an old guy.
It's like if Doc Brown turned himself into a kid.
Yeah, pretty much. And did he like live in a little cabin right outside the mansion or something before the mansion appeared?
Yeah, because he said the mansion just appeared a couple weeks ago or something like that.
Okay. And I know it's his fault that the mansion is there too, so if I remember correctly. I think he was there will be spoilers for Luigi's Mansion, guys. Spoilers. I'm sure everyone out there is, very, very nervous about, this very story-driven game like Last of Us.
Yeah.
So
almost 20-year-old game.
Yes. So I think if I remember correctly, Professor Egad ended up fighting the Boos, and he's the reason why the Boos escaped and why they're there, if I'm remembering correctly.
According to Wikipedia, as Luigi explores the mansion, he discovers it was built by King Boo to shelter the now freed portrait ghosts whom Egad had previously captured, contained in paintings with a machine dubbed the Portrificationizer. Wow, and created the false contest to lure the Mario Brothers into a trap. So King Boo is obviously the big bad, and apparently he's responsible for all this crap.
Is this King Boo's first appearance?
Pretty sure. Because he would go on to be in such hits as Mario Kart Double Dash.
He's also a Mario Kart Tour also. Good game.
Double Dash should be on the show someday.
It's still a tour. So, Austen, how did you feel about running around like you're a Ghostbuster with a vacuum?
That's actually pretty much a good summary of the game.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. because recently I beat Mario Odyssey, which was a blast.
Oh man, so good.
And some other great platformer games. Celeste on the Switch is terrific. And I went into this knowing it wasn't going to be a typical Mario game, but I didn't know enough about it. And yeah, it's pretty much he just runs around as a Ghostbuster, which is pretty great. And like what you were saying, Mike, it's kind of interesting how like when he opens the door, even though it takes like a whole half minute, it's kind of interesting to see the protagonist like scared and like he's constantly walking around like his teeth are chattering and he looks terrified the whole time, which if you were in his circumstance, you might be like that too. But
yeah, I'd be terrified.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I like that taking a break from the platform and go into a game where you're pretty much a Ghostbuster exploring a mansion and beating ghosts. And yeah, it's a pretty good premise. I liked it.
Also, cutscene in a Nintendo game. Might be the first instance of a cutscene in a Nintendo game, too.
It might be. I mean, I feel like there's got to be others than before this.
Yeah, it would have had to been on the 64 because the Super Nintendo couldn't
oh, good point.
Handle that.
I like how you can shake things. Like, I do like that concept. Like, you can just go over and grab a dresser, and he'll just shake the dresser, he'll shake a table. I mean, it plays in throughout the game. But it's very interesting. Like, I also like sucking up dust for no reason. I
like the little details of like you use this machine that allows you to kind of like check out the room if there's like booze around. And if you like locate it on like a piece of furniture, he'll give you like a little fact about it, and he'll be like, "Ew, like there's so much dust on it." There's just a lot of like little details like that in this game that I enjoyed.
That device is hilariously called the Game Boy Horror.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I did not remember that.
It's good stuff. And then in Dark Moon, they have the dual scream.
It's a game that surprised me because I remember when I played this back in the day, I wasn't like super fond of it because it's very different. Like you'll go into a room, a ghost will pop out, and you have to turn around, hit them with the flashlight, and then as soon as when their heart appears, you got a couple seconds to do it. Then you have to hold down the R button and pulls out your vacuum and suck them in. And it takes them X amount of time depending on how strong the ghost is to suck it in. It's an interesting concept.
You tilt the stick away from them and kind of roll it around, and it gets a little faster.
Yeah. I never rolled it around, but I'd tilt it whatever opposite direction they're facing.
I was tapping it for a while, and then I got tired of doing it. So I was like, I'm just going to roll the stick back and forth. It seemed to work pretty well.
Oh, I didn't know that. It's also decently generous with health pickups, too. Like, the game will give you a decent amount of health pickups to heal you as you're getting hurt. And you don't get hurt that much, but you can. I got owned a couple times. There were a few enemies that pissed me off.
Yeah, it's one of those perfect storm things where it just seems like you're getting hit every couple of seconds, but it doesn't happen often.
It's also...
Oh, sorry.
You're good. No, you're good.
What I was going to say was that something I enjoy about this game was that depends on the game, but some older games have like only like a couple enemy types. In this, there are a ton of different varieties of ghosts. Some are like pretty easy to defeat, and some are like a real pain in the ass. You pretty much can't catch. They're pretty much just there to like screw with you. But the different variety of ghosts were pretty interesting. You know, some of them didn't make any sense. There's like these ghost type that I hated. They're like little ghosts with spears, and they have like masks, like
Shy Guys.
Yeah. Oh, those were Shy Guys?
Yeah, they're Shy Guy ghosts.
Oh, well, that makes more sense now.
You suck off their face.
You had to suck off their mask to then get them. But it's interesting how like all the ghosts had like different weaknesses. It's pretty interesting.
Like you have the Donkey Kong ghosts, which are the green ones that throw bananas at you, which are very annoying.
Yeah, they're built like trash cans.
Yeah, they're annoying. But I love the Shy Guy ghosts. Those are my favorite ghosts in this entire game because I just like Shy Guys a lot because of Mario RPG.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, that
Paper Mario,
Shy Guys, and Sniffits too. Most of my Mario love comes from that game.
I'm learning this about you, that you really latch onto things and that you played as a kid, and that's where all your love for it comes.
Mm-hmm. Super Nintendo.
Like Captain America and the Avengers and all your Marvel love.
Yeah, that actually is. And in this game, like it does have like a horror vibe to it. Like when you're creeping around, you're going to different rooms, it is creepy. I mean, it's a very kiddie horror, but it still creeps me out sometimes trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing. And I did like how randomly Toad shows up at different places and you just cry until you find him.
Yeah.
I want to be like, how did you get through all these locked doors and you just ended up here? Like, come on now, Toad.
It's going to help you save your game.
Yeah, I mean, that's all he does. But also the game saves pretty frequently, too, because anytime you catch a boo, it saves, too.
Yeah.
It never felt... I mean, I played this with save states because I can. I own a copy somewhere in a bin that came out launch day, so I had no qualms emulating this for save states. I didn't need them, but nothing brings me more joy than be able to hit F1 and save whenever the hell I feel like it, hit F3 and load whenever the hell I feel like it. Nothing brings me more joy than that.
Pretty much need it for a certain pair of portrait ghosts we'll talk about later.
Okay. It also, like, this, they do a decent job of breaking this mansion into 4 parts. And I will say, I mean, I'm saying this many times in the show, probably the rate we're going, but for some reason, whenever you go in that first room, I just think of Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah,
reminds
for
me
sure.
of that mansion.
Yeah.
With the double staircase leading up to the second floor.
I like it.
I'm sure
they
took some inspiration from that.
Yeah.
And how the whole mansion is set up, that you kind of unlock new stages, but then you usually come back to some of the same stages to like look for more booze or to go unlock other doors you couldn't unlock before. So like you were constantly unlocking new areas, but still exploring and discovering new areas within the same, I don't know, stages that you already discovered before.
So is this a Metroidvania? That's what I was thinking of just now when you were saying it.
Yeah.
Well, is Resident Evil a Metroidvania? Because as we put, each level is kind of divided up. But did you notice the pattern of the keys that you get? You get a club key and a diamond key and a heart key.
I did not put 2 and 2 together until just now. Okay, good point. Touche. That probably was an inspiration then.
Oh yeah.
The one thing that did irritate me in this game, I didn't find out till later. So early on, you start finding that you find money, you find jewels, the portrait ghosts throw pearls, and I'm like, oh, money. I'm like, I bet I can upgrade stuff. So I'm collecting money. And after about 2 bosses down, I'm like, what do I do with this money? So I Googled it, and they're like, no, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
It's your score, Mike.
2001. Who the fuck cares about score?
But did that stop you from sucking up every paper, dollar, and coin that you found?
I choose not to. I plead the fifth.
There is something super satisfying about it. When you open a drawer and a bunch of money just flies into the air and you just suck up every single piece.
I went out of my way to get as many jewels as I could. Even though I knew they did nothing, I just kept doing it. Except I did forget to water the plant the 3rd time, I think.
I think this was the first time I did that one.
I did it twice, and I forgot about it.
Same.
It doesn't matter. But I do like the portrait ghosts are essentially like mini bosses, I think is the best way to put it. Where as you go, the whole point of the game, you go into different rooms, and most rooms you'll have to just beat the regular enemies that are in the room, then the lights turn on and the room is done. But some rooms will have what's called a portrait ghost, which is like a mini boss, and they're all like different specialized ghosts where it's like a puzzle to get them to show their heart. I thought it was a very interesting concept.
Yeah, they actually have some personality to them, because like the first 3 you get, it's basically a dad, mom, and their baby.
Demon baby?
Yeah, demon baby's good.
Yeah, and you can figure out on your own their weakness, or you can use your little, what is it called, the Game Boy
horror.
Yeah, you can use that thing, and it will kind of give you. It's not really a good clue, but it'll give you a little bit of a clue to figure out how to defeat them.
Yeah, there's usually a hint in there somewhere.
I did.
I just Googled it all.
No shit.
That's me. Also, one thing I do want to mention that's kind of a throwback to a very old Mario game that wouldn't really make me recognize a lot of people that I didn't really think about till as we were playing through this game is the ghosts drop a poison mushroom when you're trying to suck them up.
Mm-hmm.
The only game that had a poison mushroom at this point in time was Super Mario: The Lost Levels.
Lost Levels. Ugh.
So it's kind of cool to have a throwback to that very shitty game in here like that not a lot of people would probably get.
And then Melee would have had it too, right at the same time.
Oh yeah, Melee has it too. Okay, so I just kind of thought that was interesting how that's what the ghosts are throwing at you.
It was pretty cool. And then you get one and it shrinks you down, and when you call for Mario, it's all high pitched.
Mario. I did it too, by the way. But you can't use a vacuum when you're small.
True.
So I was always annoyed. I didn't like when I can't use the vacuum. I like the first 3 set of portrait ghosts. Like the woman is kind of cool. You have to like pull the shade open to then to get her to get cold and your heart shows. But it was the baby that gave me trouble at first. I could not remember how to get the baby to wake up because I wasn't Googling at first. I'm like, I did this before. I got midway through this game. I can figure it out. Nope.
No, they give you that ring of coins around the rocking horse to kind of push you in that direction.
Yeah, I remembered you had to do something with the balls. I kept picking up the ball and trying to shoot the ball in the crib.
2 points.
I had it wrong. You have to make the rocking horse, like you said, then you shoot him with the ball. I remember part of it, but not all of it.
So you heard it here, folks. Luigi hates babies.
So, Austin, what did you think of the first boss fight when it warps you to the boss world, whatever the hell it is?
For the baby boss fight?
Yeah, for the big baby.
I really like that because it starts off with like a little miniature boss fight in the baby's crib, and you have to take the ball and kind of like sling it back at him. And at that point, I didn't think of him as a boss. I just thought he was like the upper to the woman that's like combing her hair and the man in the rocking chair. But it was kind of interesting. So you defeat him in the little crib room. If you get shot into this like big boss open chamber room, I'm like, oh shit, it's boss fight time. And it was kind of interesting. You know, they did a typical Nintendo boss fight thing where there's different cycles. You can just kind of memorize different kind of waves of attacks they do upon you and just kind of configure your strategy to that. But yeah, I like that. I believe he tosses a bunch of rocking chairs. No, not rocking chairs. They're like rocking horses at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Then a bunch of the beach balls. You have to run around to avoid them. And then one will stay put. You pick up with your vacuum cleaner, and then you shoot it right at him. You got to do that like 3 times or so.
This game likes 3s.
I'm not sure which boss was the most annoying for you guys, but at least that boss, I didn't die once. I thought it was actually pretty easy, but it was fun and well designed. It was only towards the later part of the game where it got difficult for me, boss fight wise.
Oh yeah, they definitely ease you into it. Like these first 3, which are apparently named Neville, Lydia, and Chauncey.
Yeah. Chauncey's a little shit you gotta fight. I don't know. I don't like the baby. He didn't give me any problems this time, but I remember when I first ran into him back in 2001, I was like, what the hell? I do remember it giving me a kind of what the fuck moment.
Damn, I was 5 years old in 2001. I guess that's another reason why I didn't play this game.
Probably.
I could see that catching off guard because you've been in the mansion this whole time, then all of a sudden you're tiny in this giant crib. Could be a little shocking.
But it does a good job of breaking the game up at first, where you never feel, because every time after you beat a boss, you end up going back to... Yes, I couldn't remember his name all of a sudden. And then he gives you the next... He's like, oh, you got the key, you go to the next section, and then you go to an area that was previously unattainable, and you go run around there. And I thought that was also very interesting. Like, Area 2... I do like Area 2. Some of the bosses were kind of fun. You have the floating world disc, they're called, which are 2 dancers. And this is also, it's in the second section of the game when they add the next thing to the game, where you get the ability to do certain elements. Like you end up getting you find fire spirits, where you can then use that to light candles on fire or light something on fire. You eventually get water, you can douse flame. You get ice, because why not? And I thought that was cool that they add a little more puzzle mechanics to this game.
Yeah, and then you actually use the fire, like you said, the light candles are to melt ice. And then the ghosts start incorporating those elements.
But there's not many.
No. Luckily. Usually the elements nearby. There's only one instance where I had to really backtrack to get what I needed.
You talking about the shitty toilet guy?
No. It was somewhere, I think it was on the 3rd floor.
There's one in the toilet that you needed you needed water, and I couldn't find water, and I had to backtrack pretty damn far to get water to get this little bastard that was sitting in the toilet. You go out, you shake the toilet, he pops out and causing trouble.
Yeah. Well, all 3 elements are in the kitchen too. If you ever lost.
I got lost a few times. I mean, you have a map, which is nice, but I still got lost.
Yeah.
Even with
get worse stuff.
Any of you guys get the old door slams you against the wall and you pin the G bit?
When I was being dumb and didn't look at the map, yeah.
Yeah. The biggest trick is to look at the map and see where the doors are. But yeah, that'll get you.
Do that, but yeah, after a couple times of that, I was like, you know what? I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to check the map more often.
I also think if you vacuum a real door, it kind of shakes in place, and the fake ones don't.
That's too much work. The map's easier. I mean, after a while, because you do backtrack a lot in this game, if it doesn't feel... I mean, it's all optional. It's mostly optional. Like, yes, It does make you run around, but the boos are completely optional.
Yeah.
I think.
Unleashing them is not...
I like how... That's an Area 2, right? When you release the boos?
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting concept where you go to this room, you find a button that says, do not push, and of course, push the button, which ended up releasing all these boos that then run around the mansion, then you have to go catch them. Well, you don't have to, but you can.
I believe you catch at least 5 of them to get to the point where you go talk to Toad at the toilet.
Oh, yep, you're right. You do have to catch 5.
Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, I dropped my item in the toilet. My despair is going down the toilet. He's like really depressed.
Why that just made me think of a Silent Hill puzzle where you had to go upstairs and push the ball through the pipe or drain the pipe so then it goes all the way down and you get the key.
I will say that all these toilets in this game look way better than that one in Silent Hill 2 where he like reaches in the freaking pile of beans that's in there.
Yeah.
Ugh. We're done with that. We're not going back.
There's still 3 and 4.
We're done with 2 though.
Yes, we'll have to play it again. But I like how you can do a lot of things with your vacuum too. Like you can grab shower curtains for no reason and move it. You can go and grab tablecloths off tables for no reason, but you just can do it. And I did it all the time.
Oh yeah.
But I was never bored playing this game. I wanted to finish it because of the show, but I enjoyed myself. That was nice. That was a nice change compared to some games we play in the show.
Yeah. And like we said, collecting the money doesn't do anything. The booze aren't really required, but it's still fun to vacuum up everything you see.
The boos are interesting because after you finish a room and you get the portrait ghost or clear out the enemies, the lights will turn on, and then you have a little, what is it, your boo meter? What's it called again?
I don't know if that did it have a name?
Probably. Everything in this game had a name.
That's fair.
But the thing about the boos is, so you go in the room and you'll see a little light. Well, you have to go find whatever table or item they're hiding and shake it, and the boo comes out. Like normally with a ghost, once you expose their heart, you just pull at them and you just keep sucking them and they run around and try to escape you. But with a boo, they don't stay with you. You have to kind of keep them in range, and you slowly drain their health bar.
And some of the later ones have so much health, and they're in these tiny rooms, and they love to fly back and forth between.
The early ones don't.
True.
Hey, Austen, did you keep trying to get all the boos, or did you just say fuck it?
So there was a point where I thought that to advance, I needed every single boo, and I was starting to get pissed off because, like, you have to go back to all these rooms, search them, and it takes a while to search, and then you don't beat them, and they fly to a different room, and you confuse them for other ghosts. But then I found out you just need 5 to unlock it. So after that, I stopped caring about the boos.
I got 46.
They are, like you said, they are a fun little add-on. Like, the coins don't matter, or the boos really don't matter after 5. But if I accidentally awoke a boo, I would try to catch them. And I kind of like how, like, if you fail at getting them, they'll kind of, like, fly out and, like, out of the room. So you have to go, like, find them in another room or just in the hallway. That's kind of a neat detail. I like that.
I had a couple run on me, and I thought, oh, they'll just come back to the room. And I left and entered. Nope, he never came back. I never found him either. Some of them I just never found again. But I also love that the boo's names are all puns, pretty much. Like, there's one called Game Boo Avant. There's Boolicious, Turboo.
Booigi?
Which one?
Booigi.
Oh, there's a Booigi. That's cool.
There's a Booigi.
Little Boo Peep, Boo Caster, Boolivia, Boo Nita, Underboo, Tambourine.
Underboo is the one that really got to me. I'm like, what are they referencing there? Like, I think it's underoos, like underwear, but it's very close to underboob.
The name origin is Underdog.
Oh, okay. Sure, Nintendo. We'll go with that.
There's Boutique, but I was amused by them, and I'm normally not into puns, but and I like Shamboo, because all I could think of Shamboo was ShamWow. Supposed to be shampoo, but I'm like, ShamWow reference. Apparently not. That's how you know I'm a child of that's how you know I was born in the late 80s, because I remember those stupid commercials. Didn't that guy go to prison?
I don't know.
I don't know. I remember hearing that rumor once, but I don't know how much anything's true.
Shampoo went to prison. Luigi catches him.
Maybe. I like how you catch them, and each time you catch a boo, it adds a little meter that, a little count goes up. And it's like, because you're trying to catch 50 boos. Luckily, there's 15 are one boss. Very annoying boss, but
we'll talk about that boss.
We'll get there. And I like that. Like it's cool. And once I found it was optional, I mean, I went for, like I said, I got 46 of them because I was trying to get them all because I thought it was required, and I couldn't, and I just wanted to. Which, how'd that go for you? Trying to catch them all.
So I got 49 at the end, and I'm like, well, maybe King Boo is the last Boo, and he's not. There's a secret room connected to the butler's room where the last Boo is.
Because this game's not nice.
I'm only kind of salty about it.
Well, hey, don't worry. You weren't getting an achievement for it anyway, because it's a 2001 game.
That's fair.
How many did you get, Mike?
46.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was trying. I had a few run on me early on before I knew and I just didn't care enough to try finding them.
Makes sense.
I mean, one of the other ghosts I want to mention in Area 2, though, is the fat guy, Mr. Lugs, where he's optional, I guess, but you have to, you suck up all his food to get him upset so he comes after you.
Yeah.
I like that.
Luigi's such an asshole. The poor bunch of fucking eat.
And you got to kill his waiters, too, otherwise they keep bringing him more food.
Yeah, you gotta light the candles first, which I didn't do, so I didn't get him until Area 3, because, like, I knew he was there, I couldn't remember how to trigger him. Like, oh, you gotta light the candles, and then he appears.
There's not a lot of optional, but there's 3 optional bosses, or 3 optional portrait ghosts. No, I take that back. There's 5. I did all the portrait ghosts, by the way, just because I had to. The game made me in its own way.
Yeah, well.
I liked it, though. I like capturing them. I thought it was fun. I was not a big fan of the Area 2 boss, though, Bogmire.
Yeah.
That's a weird fight. That's another one where you get warped to a zone, but I don't even know what the hell. He was like a shadowy creature. Yeah. You got to suck up his shadow and shoot his shadow at himself.
Yeah, you got to shoot the purple one that appears. It's very strange.
Yeah, not as fun as the baby one.
No, it's the worst boss fight in this game out of the 4.
I don't know if it's the worst. It's definitely the weakest. As far as frustration goes, the next one is worse.
You didn't like Luigis?
Oh, man. So Luigis is when it's just after you get the ice medallion. And you have to suck him up by the tail and get him to hit a statue's lance to break apart into 15 little boos and then freeze them with the ice and suck them up, which is fine until you get to like the last 5 or so. And then when you shoot the ice, they all run away from you. So you have to either time it or just keep doing what I did, spin around and shooting randomly, and eventually I got it all. Like, if there was some trick to it, I couldn't figure it out.
I had no problem with it. I mean, I would lose them, but I did all right. Like, I wasn't frustrated or anything with it. I just followed them and shot them and froze them and grabbed them.
It must have just been me then.
I think it was just you. I enjoyed the Luigis. It's 15 boos combined together to form this big boss that you fight, and you have to. I mean, it's interesting. It's not a terrible fight. I had more fun with it than the Bogmire. It's a little more challenging. And then in my original playthrough, I think I got close to this boss fight, but for some reason never actually got to him.
You probably got stuck at the twins.
Oh, when you were young, when you played this before?
No. I was saying back in the day, if you got just before the Luigis, you probably got stuck trying to fight the twins, where you go into their room and they're like, "Hey, let's play hide and go seek." And 5 boxes appear, and you have to pick them out of the boxes, but you have no idea. It's completely random which ones they're in. Did you use save states for this?
Come on now, do you have to ask that question? Of course I did.
It's really the only way to do it, unless you get super lucky, or unless there's a trick that I don't know about.
Oh, I believe each one shakes a little bit, so you can tell which one.
That makes sense.
Because that's what I use.
I just picked the wrong one, saw what they popped out of, then reload and open the right one. But hey, I mean, that worked perfectly for me. But I know why I didn't finish this game. So you go in one room, you activate something, the ceiling blows up, and you start seeing stars fall. And I just left this room. I didn't think anything about it. You have to get 5 pieces of Mario in this game. You need his rib, you need his eye, wrong game. You got to get his glove, hat.
Yes. You have to process them.
And there's one room where you have to suck these little stars that are falling and shoot the moon in the background of the room that's far away with one of these stars in order to get the Mario star to fall that you need to unlock another ghost. I never could figure that out when I was a kid. I was like, what the fuck do I do in this room? I just left and thought it was nothing.
Yeah, Luigi just blows up the moon so you can get the Mario star.
How many tries did that take you?
More than 10.
I've played this game multiple times. I can never consistently shoot that damn moon. Like, it takes me so many tries.
It's hard. Did you use a guide for that, Austen, or did you just do it randomly, or?
I just randomly found that room, and it took me like 5 tries, but I got it.
Wow, that's impressive.
But that was like one of the only Mario items I got besides the hat, which I think was after the Fat Man, I want to say.
I can't remember. I just know as a kid I was missing one of those items, and that's I think why I never finished this game.
The hat's in the laundry room just before the butler's room.
Oh,
it's the first one you get.
I do like that part when you go down. There's a part where you drop down a well and you go in this secret little tunnel, and you end up seeing Mario in a portrait and King Boo talking to him, which is the story. One of the few real story beats of this game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I could never find that star, and then I never knew how to get Madame. There's a fortune teller you have to give all these items to, and then you can capture her, which then gives you a key, and that's where I got stuck because I could not figure out what to do.
Madame Clairvoyant.
I couldn't say it. That's what broke me in this game back in 2001. But I didn't remember that. I had no recollection that that's why I stopped playing until when we were playing through for the show. I was like, oh, so that's why I never could get through this game.
Makes sense.
You know, the time before the internet was as prevalent for looking up stuff as it is now. Except the internet was around 2001. So I don't know why I didn't just look it up. Doesn't make any sense.
Dumb kid.
I don't think I cared as much. I was just so excited to play Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah, well.
Oh, I missed that same room, too, that you're talking about, because I'm watching the video. I didn't go in that room either.
Oh, the secret one now.
Yeah, so don't feel bad.
You have to go into first-person mode and ping a little mouse hole, and then it'll suck you in like the doghouse right before Boolossus.
No, it's right before Bogmire.
Bogmire, yeah, that's what I meant.
I didn't. That was a tough portrait ghost for me, that fucking dog.
Yeah, he's kind of a dick.
I was not happy.
Because you have to get him to bark to wake up Mr. Bones.
Yeah, that was dumb. Most portrait ghosts in this game are really good, but that was one that annoyed me.
Well, we got to talk about the best one real quick.
Sure.
So you go into the music room, and you start, as Mike has said, you shake the object, but it's clearly just Luigi humping them. But that's neither here nor there. So you activate all these musical instruments, and it's playing, I think it's the Mario World field music, I think. God,
it's Mario 1.
Is it 1?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. So then it wakes up Melody, who plays a little tune on the piano, and she can play a couple of different ones, which I kept getting the what is it, 1-3? The underwater music from Mario 1?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'm the wrong person to ask.
I'm trying to look it up and talk at the same time. It's not working.
It's a fun boss fight, though. I screwed up on it, and I had to go back in there. But I do like the fight.
I'm just a sucker for any old school Mario music that they shoehorn in, which they love to do.
It works in this game. It works in the scene because you are playing instruments. And like all the bosses are very unique, and they're all kind of puzzles to figure out how to get them to show their heart. And they're fun. Like there's only one that really pissed me off. But for the most part, I enjoyed most of them.
Was that the granny? I know you're having trouble.
Okay, the granny. Okay. So you go in this one room, and you see this old woman sitting in a chair, and there's 3 yarn balls on the table. You have to grab the yarn ball, hit her. Once you hit her with the first one, she starts moving around the room. Then you have to suck up the other 2, but if you miss one of them, it goes away, and then the room you have to reset the room, and she laughs at you. Did it over 15 times one night, couldn't get it to work. Next day, first try.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yep.
I don't know why it worked. I was ready to save state and everything, but I'm like, okay, this time I'll get that first one, I'll save state, I won't miss again. And nope, nothing, just worked. So I was like, okay. But no, the worst one was near the end of the game, Sir Weston. There's a ghost that's in a freezer room. You have to suck in this fire element while you're sliding around a room, because that's always fun in games. Oh, yeah. And you have to melt him to suck him in, but while you're trying to suck him in, icicles are still falling in the room that you're in. It is a pain in the ass.
I didn't really have too much trouble with that one.
I hated him.
What I liked about this game was that in the beginning, I was super worried that it would become really repetitive. It was in the first stage where you just go upstairs and you kind of explore around. I thought it would just be like, you go into a room, you defeat some ghosts, and then you advance to the next room. And even though the game is pretty much that, go into a room, defeat some ghosts, and go on to the next room, the way you defeat them, and like how Mike was saying, how you use puzzles kind of to figure out their weaknesses, was kind of interesting. And even rooms like, I think it was the first room before you discovered a fire element, even rooms that just have normal ghosts that aren't like mini bosses, they're kind of interesting. The fire element room, it's a mirror room because ghosts keep appearing behind you that are invisible until you shine the light on them. But you see where they are because there's a mirror in front of you, so you can see where the ghost appears before he comes behind you and grabs you. So there was enough creative ways to make each room, I don't know, I guess, unique and interesting enough to keep going, even though every room is essentially just defeating different kinds of ghosts.
Oh yeah, for sure. They do a lot of creative stuff in this to keep dangling that carrot in front of you to see what they're going to do next.
It worked. Even the backtracking they make you do, like after the third boss, they end up turning the lights end up turning off. You have to go to the basement to the breaker room. Like, I had fun. I wasn't bored at all during this game. I was even hunting after all the boos. Like, I was like, okay.
So other than the aforementioned boos, they kept dodging me and leaving the room. The part I hated most was to get upstairs. You had to go from the lobby all the way across the first floor, outside, all the way back around and back inside, and then you can go up the stairs.
Can you ever get a key to that one door in your way?
As far as I know, no.
That's kind
because
of
it's locked on both sides.
Yeah, there's this damn door right in front of the stairwell that you have to go all the way around, which would be nice to open the damn door.
Yeah, that would save so much time. Like, there's got to be a way, but I did pretty much everything in this game, and I never got it, so...
Okay, it probably isn't there. Because I'm looking at the Portrait Ghost right now. I beat all the Portrait Ghosts, and since I don't know if we mentioned it, as you beat Portrait Ghosts, you always get a key to the next room to kind of, keep progressing with the game. Yeah. Even if some are not required. Luckily,
it shows you on the map which key it is. You don't have to Silent Hill and try to activate every door you come across.
Yeah, which is very nice. It shows you things. It doesn't. The map is very friendly. It shows you what room you need to go to. It shows you what rooms you've been in. It shows you, I think, what rooms you completed. It just doesn't show you the booze are, but.
So the map has the rooms in different colors, and they have to mean something. Because it could be blue, green, or red or yellow. Is there purple too?
Oh, purple.
So like I said, they have to mean something because each room seems to be a different color, but like I don't know. It doesn't tell you anything.
But you don't need to know. I mean, I never felt that confused. Well, I was reading a guide, so that's a I shouldn't say. But I didn't feel that confused. I know as a kid I was confused, but then again I was a kid.
So the last one kid you would probably get. Even now I have to use like the internet and YouTube a lot to figure out some of these rooms, even after playing video games. So I can see why, like in the early 2000s, where kids probably often wouldn't have access to the internet, why parts of this game would be a pain in the ass. But that's what extends the runtime,
Hey, at least it didn't make you have to go in a room, check a bookshelf, cast a spell to reveal the invisible, and then the thing shows. It didn't do anything like that, so that was nice.
Yeah. I don't think it was too.
I know you get that reference.
According to a quick Google search, says it only tells which area the room is relevant for. Yellow for area 1, pink for area 2, green for area 3, and blue for area 4.
Okay, that's cool, though.
Why can't it just tell you that?
Again, it's 2002. Who explains anything in games? It's like you would play a game
2001.
Where you can rapidly tap the square button to shoot, and the game just doesn't even tell you that. So some people might just hold down the button and play it that way.
How dare you sully this game by saying it came out in 2002? This was 2001.
Fuck 2002, by the way.
What's your big thing against 2002, Mike?
Ratchet and Clank, Blood Omen 2 coming up, Star Wars Bounty Hunter. Eternal Darkness. We keep playing games for some reason that are all from 2002 on the show, and they all have like very 2002 things that make me angry.
It's just something we're noticing lately.
I don't know why all of a sudden we pick all these 2002 games. Like I think we're just like reliving our childhood or something. I don't know.
Yeah, childhood. I wasn't graduated from high school or anything.
I was graduated in 06. But. So a couple bosses I want to mention before we start wrapping it up is, one, there's Vincent Van Gogh, which is the final portrait ghost that you'll fight before the final boss. And it's a guy who paints pictures of a ghost that the enemies you fight throughout the game, you have to fight them to then go after him. And I thought that was kind of cool to, as a final boss, to kind of like, or, almost final boss, to kind of like, fight everything you've been fighting throughout the game. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and he's actually the one that's painted all the normal ghosts in the game, I think the story says.
Oh, okay. That's even cooler then. I didn't have any problem with, like, most of the bosses didn't bother me. Okay, the toy soldiers bothered me. I do remember that. They kind of pissed me off a little bit, because there's 3 of them.
Yeah. It's like you're sucking up one, and then the other one will attack you. It's kind of a pain.
But it's not. I mean, I had fun. I can't remember what Uncle Grimley was.
Uncle Grimley was, when the lights go out, he's the old man in the jacket standing in front of the mirror in the wardrobe room.
Oh,
he tries to scare you by going, ooh.
Okay, it's in my guide. It said he was optional, but in here it says it's required. I mean, I went and got him anyway because I wasn't skipping any portrait ghosts.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was required because I think he gives you the key that gets you back in the breaker room.
Oh, okay.
So I want to mention 2 of them because for some reason they were the only 2 portrait ghosts whose name I remembered. Like as soon as I saw him, I'm like, that weightlifter. His name is Buff Atlas.
Biff Atlas.
Is it Biff?
Biff.
Damn, that's close. And then pool player was Slim Bankshot, which is a great name.
He's also optional, I found out. I like him.
No one's optional if you're having fun. It is
speedrunning.
Damn.
So speaking of fun, so Austen, what did you think of were you surprised when the final boss showed up?
I was, because I thought the whole time it was going to be King Boo, and then Bowser showed up again. I'm like, what's Bowser doing in that painting? They got transported away. I'm like, oh shit. And then like his head pops out, and then Boo flies out of him. It was, I was very surprised. Because I thought this was going to be one of the only Mario type games that wouldn't have Bowser in it, but no, Bowser was in it.
Because you give Madame Clairvoyant one of the items, she's like, "What? Bowser's here?"
Oh, really? I guess.
Yeah, it's one of the last ones you give her.
But yeah,
the thing that's interesting is they say that Mario killed Bowser in their last fight, and so does that mean that he actually died in Mario 64? Then I guess there's no real timeline.
That's dark.
Because it does say he's dead, if I remember correctly. That's what they say in here.
I missed that.
I think so. No, Luigi. I mean, King Boo is interesting. Like I was expecting a King Boo fight. I wasn't expecting him to be inside a Bowser robot. That was not what I thought was coming.
Definitely not.
It's an annoying fight. Like it is definitely the hardest fight in this game. No question.
Yeah. Like it's not real apparent right away what you're supposed to do. Because like he shoots out or he throws these mines at you. So I'm trying to vacuum up so I can pick them up like you've been doing, like we said, the balls with the baby and whatnot. But the vacuum doesn't pull them closer to you. So I'm like, okay, they're just something I have to dodge. You have to actually hold out the vacuum and run into it to be able to pick it up. And they're covered in spikes, so you wouldn't immediately think, oh, I need to run into this thing. That was the impression I got.
And King Boo is in it was in Super Mario 64 DS. They put him in.
Oh. Huh. Wonder if he takes over for Big Boo's hunt.
Probably. And you get to free Luigi or something.
That makes sense.
That's kind of cool. Okay, never mind. But yeah, you're right. Like it's a weird thing where you have to suck up the spikes and then wait for him to bend down and you can hit him in the face with it.
Yeah, and the explosion can hurt you too, so you can't be too close.
Yeah, you can get kind of fucked up in this game.
This is the only time I died throughout my playthrough.
I would have, but I couldn't die. But yeah, I did have issues with this. Like I had to reload a few different times and kind of save state the boss fight because he can do some damage to you. Like most of the game is not that hard, but this fight is tough. But it's still a cool fight. I mean, I really actually liked it. And after you hit him the first set of times and do so much damage to King Boo, because after you end up hitting Bowser, the head pops off and King Boo comes out, and you have to just suck him with a vacuum until he runs away and goes back in. And then as many bosses at this time goes into a second phase where he ends up Bowser will chase after you for a little bit before he resets to let you hurt him again, which is kind of.
Oh yeah, because his head's on backwards.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was cool to see Bowser in this game, though. I mean, I never knew he was in this game until a week ago.
I wonder how many kids that traumatized with his head falling off and getting on backwards and stuff. It's like, I don't want to play Mario Kart anymore.
I mean, how many little kids even got to the end of this game?
That's fair.
I think I was, because 14-year-old Mike, a 13-year-old Mike couldn't get to the end of this game. Well, 32-year-old Mike did though. It's cool to see Bowser. I mean, I would have been all right with not having Bowser in this game though. It would have worked for me just fine.
It's like Twilight Princess, where they set up Zant as the big villain. The whole spoilers for Twilight Princess. Set up Zant the whole time, and then it's freaking Ganondorf again. Like, can we not have Ganon all the time?
Yeah, there's a lot more to that though.
But still,
that game is a sequel to Ocarina of Time though.
Bring back Fatty from Minish Cap.
That's a whole different timeline, sir.
It's all Nintendo, though. They know what they're doing.
There's a video where someone actually went through the whole Mario timeline and put something together, but it's not real. It's just one of those dumb videos.
They're all stage plays.
Only 3.
I'm going to keep bringing that up.
Austin, do you have trouble with this boss at all?
I did, yes. Okay. And I didn't have the save state, so I actually legitimately died.
Nice. Oh, did you play this on real hardware? No, you didn't. What am I asking?
No. No, the upper kind of hardware. Unlike you, I have to feel bad because I don't actually own it. So sorry, I guess.
And it's fine.
Your 20-year-old game.
That they only re-released one.
Yep.
They re-released this on 3DS less than 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2017.
I mean, that's just. And this doesn't exist in any other way. Like, you can't buy this on the Switch yet. You couldn't buy this. Like, it never. And that's when they always bug me about Nintendo, that they don't like to re-release things. And when they do, like the aforementioned, I think it was off camera. It was off camera. The Mario collection, All-Stars 3D collection, where they're releasing 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy, but only for a limited time. Like, come on, just put your games out there.
They're not even like a real remaster. It's pretty much just a straight.
They're just ports.
Yeah.
The only way I'm buying it is if Galaxy can be played without motion controls. They might have my money. Except I might have a different way to play it without motion controls. So we'll see.
Have you guys played Luigi 2 or Luigi Mansion 2 or 3 or no?
So I've played a bit of Dark Moon, and it loses a lot of the charm from this game. Because, the ghosts, there are no portrait ghosts for one. And the standard ghosts are all like bastardizations. They're all very bland. Like they almost feel like minions. And I hate to say that about anything Nintendo related, but and it's like I said, it just loses a lot of the charm. There's multiple mansions you go through that are all a lot smaller. And they're divided into missions. So it's like Mario 64 where you pick a star and it kind of changes the level to match what you need to do to get that star. It does the same thing in that game.
Huh. Okay.
3's
That
better.
might be on the show at some point, though.
Yeah, probably.
I own it on 3DS.
3 I
I've never
played through in a
played it,
few days. It's pretty good. It's
Also,
not as good
everything-
as this one, but
To mention is that like it took them so long to release a sequel. Like Dark Moon doesn't come out till it's much later on the 3DS, but I don't remember.
yeah, 2013-ish. Yeah,
I can go with that because I can't find what I'm looking for.
yep, it's 2013. 12 years
I mean,
later.
Yeah, that's a long time. Like, I mean, I felt like we were never gonna get a sequel to this game. I mean, I didn't really play much of it, but I know like this game has a fan base for it. Like, I'm glad they're finally doing more with it, even if it is super damn slow.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as long between 2 and 3 though.
No, thank God. But also, after you finally beat King Boo, you rescue Mario, who's now sleeping in his portrait because he passed out, I guess. Because earlier he's awake, you see him banging on the portrait, and like throughout every time you capture a portrait ghost, he takes him from his vacuum, puts him into the trap-o-meter or whatever the hell it is, and then it goes through this little thing where it beats him into a portrait. And I laugh when it does the opposite with Mario, where you just hear him screaming and going, "Mama, what the hell am I doing? Mamma mia!" as they're like doing everything but in revert to him, where it's like they're beating them with like a panel and all sorts of stuff. It's amusing to me though.
And then he comes out of it with the picture frame around his neck, and Luigi can't help but laugh at him.
I like the little portrait cutscene every time when it put the ghost in the portrait, though. That always amused me for some reason.
I did want to mention the portraits real quick. The color of the frame depends on how well you did at capturing them. So you can go from bronze to silver to gold.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
And according to this wiki that I was looking up earlier, the picture of the ghost actually changes too, depending on which frame you get, which I did not know.
No, it's a very cool concept. That it's something that, and that's the thing about Nintendo. There's little small touches I never even noticed were in this game. Like, that, for instance, I never even knew it was there. I didn't pay enough attention, I guess.
I like their little touches.
And then after you finish each area, it shows you all the ghosts that you caught for the portrait ghosts. And then it shows you all the money you collected, of course.
It's also when you see the names of the portrait ghosts.
Yeah. I was just bummed when I found out the money does nothing.
It changes your ending.
It does?
Yeah, oh yeah. Did you not sit through the credits, Mike?
No.
Yeah, after the credits, depending on how much money you get, Luigi uses it to buy a new house. And it can go anywhere from like a little shack to an actual mansion.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, I got to the end, the credits came, and I just turned off the game and left.
Did the MCU not teach you anything? You have to stay through the credits.
Yeah, that wasn't happening here. Austin, did you stay for the credits?
Nope.
Okay, so it wasn't just me.
Nope. I waited like a half minute, and I was like, there's probably nothing else after this.
That's what I thought.
Oh, it's not even a shack. The lowest level, H rank, is finishing the game with only 5,000 gold, and it's just a tent.
I probably would have been somewhere in the middle, because I did collect a lot of things.
And then S rank is, like I said, an actual mansion. It says, "Welcome to Luigi's new mansion."
Okay, that's cool, though.
Yeah, so it's not for nothing, but it's also not for anything good.
That's nothing. To see a little picture of a house at the end of the game that doesn't matter.
I got rank C. It's like a little villa. It was cute. I like it.
I'm curious now, because I could easily load up my save state and see what I got, but I don't care enough.
Yeah.
So it's not going to happen. All right. Are you guys ready to go on for questions, comments, or memories?
Let me go through my notes real quick and make sure we didn't miss anything. So the vacuum is called the Poltergeist 3000. I don't think we mentioned that at the beginning.
We did not mention that.
The theme immediately got stuck in my head because Luigi kind of whistles along to it as you walk in, which is adorable. And then there was one more thing. What'd you think of the Exorcist ghost? Where you walk into the little girl's room and everything is upside down?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a Poltergeist reference?
Pretty sure it was. It definitely feels like it should have been.
It's weird coming from you, for a guy who
I know.
It could be. I don't know. I can't remember much about Poltergeist. I've never seen it. So, or Exorcist. What the hell am I even saying? I'm combining movies. I've never seen Exorcist. I met Linda Blair, but that's it. So,
Nice.
yeah, my wife wanted to.
And then there's the portrait ghost that you fight in the jars, and he looks like the Pot of Greed card from Yu-Gi-Oh!
The Greed.
The problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! For me is like every time I see Yu-Gi-Oh! I think of the show, but none of anything they do in the show is anything to do with the card game.
That's fair. That's because the show came first, and they couldn't very well, when they made the actual card game, they couldn't very well make it as chaotic as that is.
That show makes no sense the way they play that game.
It's fun though.
Cool. You should watch it. All right. I think we should go to questions, comments, or memories now.
Sure.
I actually got a decent amount about this game. I was more than I expected. All right, first one I'm going to read from friend of the show, Emmanuel. I never got to play this as a kid, even though I wanted to, because, well, I never really owned a Nintendo home console growing up. It wouldn't be until a few years ago that a coworker of mine loaned me his GameCube along with Mario Sunshine, Sonic Adventure 2, and this game. I was so happy to finally be able to play it after years of watching Luigi's Mansion Super Replay. Oh, God. And here, I'm just going to skip forward, but the last part. With that said, I really like this game, and although you may scoff at me, this is my Resident Evil, and for that, I would put it on the shelf.
Play Resident Evil, Manuel. Suck it up.
Supposed to soon. Oh, Manuel. I mean, this is the part of our Spooktember. This actually was supposed to be the first game of our Spooktember, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, well.
And from Connor Campbell, fighting a baby always feels dirty. It's not wrong, but this baby's trying to kill me, and it's floating, and it's bigger than me.
That's fair.
So, and from Isaac Farmer, it's my favorite game. I absolutely love the Portrait Ghosts. I really enjoyed Luigi Mansion 3, but I wish they would have gone back to Portrait Ghosts.
Yep, totally.
I really like the Portrait Ghosts a lot.
Totally agree.
And from Andrew Burns, thought it was intriguing as a kid, but didn't hold my interest. Great atmosphere. You should go back and play it, sir. You're missing out. Because that's how I felt. And now I got a few comments to read from Nintendo GameCube enthusiasts. From Gabriel Garcia, I only just played it 100% of the game at the beginning of quarantine. It's maybe the most charming game I ever played. What it lacked length, made up in character. What's this quarantine thing people talk about? I work in retail quarantine. I don't know. I wasn't essential.
Yeah. Yep.
Austin, were you essential too? One of the lucky bastards?
I was not, so I was one of those lucky bastards just sitting home, not doing my hair, watching Breaking Bad.
I would have been okay with it for a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
Not super long. I would like, hey, you're coming back in 3 weeks. Have a 3-week vacation. Go click some unemployment.
Oh, God, that sounds so nice.
Been nice. All right. From Nick Sherwood, one of my favorite games of all time. It's great all the way through. Yes, sir. Good opinion. Hank CM, although many criticize its length, I actually like being able to complete it in 3 hours or less. It's very replayable in that regard to me because I don't have to put a lot of time into it. It's kind of like the same feel as watching a movie as opposed to binge watching a television show. It's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm. It's like I've said recently that sometimes all you need is a good short game that's meant to be replayed or compared to a long 50-hour game that you're maybe going to get through.
Yeah, and this game is long enough. But it's fun. It's short, it's fun, and it doesn't need to be any longer, I think.
Yeah, sometimes you just want a cheeseburger. You don't need filet mignon.
From Barden Shraj, the atmosphere is very chilling despite its cartoony appearance. The music is charming and oddly catchy. Nothing tops the design, though. From Portrait Ghost to Luigi himself, the game has charm in spades. And a spade key, right?
Pretty sure.
That's something we didn't really mention that much, that the music is really, really good and it really captures the atmosphere they wanted for this game. It's something that stood out to me immediately was the soundtrack.
Yeah, that main theme will get stuck in your head. It's a definite earworm.
Yeah, which I like that. I actually like the music. I had it playing most of the time when I played this game.
Wow. That's a Mike Albertin seal of approval there.
And it has to do with the timing. If it's a game I played back in the day when I was younger, before I knew what podcasts were, I tend to listen to more music. Where it's a game older, I don't listen.
That's fair.
Like, wait till we talk about Chrono Trigger in episode 100. Right, from Bill Cahill, whatever the hell. My first GameCube game, I remember my parents getting me the game back in 2001. Still a masterpiece. Me too. Shamar M. Thompson, it's just a great game. Love the atmosphere, just overshadowed by Mario. He's not wrong. He could have had this game without Mario, not really in here. Just been Luigi got a mansion.
Yeah. Mario and Bowser can feel kind of shoehorned in.
Yeah, I would have been okay with just King Boo being the final boss with no Bowser robot or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been fine without Bowser in it, but I feel like Mario's kind of interesting because that gives him kind of a little bit of conflict that he needs to figure this out to rescue his brother. We get to see the side of Luigi where he wants to rescue his brother at any cost. Unlike other games where Mario is just a piece of shit to his brother, treats him like pure garbage.
Like Mario Tennis.
Like Mario Tennis. Is that the one where he like puts his Luigi?
When Luigi wins, he like rubs his heel onto his foot.
Yeah, the one time he actually wins.
What a dick.
Mario is such a dick.
Yeah. Okay, and from this one, Jason Kemp bought it with the Cube at launch. One of my all-time favorite games. I play through at least once a year. Wish they would port it to the Switch. Don't worry, they will for $60 one of these days. Not in a collection, just $60.
But Luigi will have a new hat, so it'll be worth it.
So, and this one from Ian Franz. I tried it for the first time about a year ago. Not a fan. My condolences.
He just
missing out.
I mean, I guess nothing's for everyone. So
no, I mean, I'm glad that I still enjoyed this game a lot. So I can see why people don't like it though, because of it's not super long. Except for me, I don't want anything super long anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
It depends on the person. All right, and this one from Tim Fett. One of the best games for GameCube, in my opinion. The only real issue was I finished with one ghost uncaptured because it cleared through a door. You can't go inside, and I never saw him again. Went through every room 3 or 4 times and gave up. I don't blame you. I gave up anyway just because I didn't care. And last group, I have a couple questions to read from the Mario group that I posted in. From Megan Fullenfont. Sorry, I butchered your name, ma'am, if you listen to this episode. I played this game all the time to this day, even was the game that launched the GameCube. Even though I didn't get the GameCube when it launched, I got it later down the road and became obsessed ever since. Can't compare to 2 or 3. I can't either. Maybe one day, right?
Yeah, probably.
I do want to play 2 and 3.
As soon as 3 isn't $60, so maybe.
So by 2030.
Maybe.
When it becomes a greatest hits, thing, whenever the hell that day comes, they'll do it someday.
It'll go on sale for 10% off at some point.
Or when I can emulate. From Thomas Bruckner, I want to finish the game so bad, but I'm preoccupied with Breath of the Wild right now. Stop that. Go play this. You'll beat it and you can go back to Breath of the Wild. It's only 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And last thing I want to read. Robin Reed. I have played Luigi's Mansion 2 on 3DS and 3 on Switch. If they update the first one for Switch, I would get it. Give them time. Give them time.
Yeah.
It's coming. I'm sure it's going to happen.
It only took 25 years for them to do Link's Awakening, so...
Well, Link's Awakening was perfect as the way it was.
Yeah, that's right.
I love Link's Awakening DX, so... All right, that's all for comments, questions, and memories that we have. So I thank you guys for that commented on my Facebook post. And I think it's time for Shelf or Box. And Austin, since you're our guest, why don't you go first?
All right. I am putting this on the shelf, which is the good one, right?
Yes. Shelf is good.
All right, good. All right. It's go on the shelf. Great music. It creates a awesome atmosphere that you go in. It's like Silent Hill for kids, kind of. It gives us a protagonist that is not I don't know. He has definitely weaknesses. He's a coward, and I don't know. It's a fun Ghostbusters game within the Mario universe, and we've been going over this, but plenty of fun boss fights, and even just fighting the single little mini ghosts they're all fun. It's enjoyable. It's not super long. Definitely go on the shelf.
Okay. Mike, how about you?
Oh, it's an easy shelf for me, too. When this game came out, it was an instant classic. Sure, it's not a Mario game in the traditional sense, but it's still super fun. Even, as we said earlier, even getting the money that does virtually nothing is still super compelling. It's hard not to. And to drive this home, it's something I haven't even told Mike yet. As soon as I finish this game, you unlock the hidden mansion. I'm I'll go in here. I'll go check this out. So the only thing it really does is the ghost hits you a little harder and your vacuum's a little stronger. But I played that entire mansion in one big sitting, and I did get all 50 boosts that time. So this is kind of a testament to how fun this game is. Even after I just beat it, I beat it again right away.
Yeah, unlike me, I just turned it off and never looked at it again. But that's just me.
Yeah, well.
I don't have time right now.
Nah.
And since that wraps up, I didn't say what I thought. Okay, I'll go last. I almost forgot about me. Wow, that's a first. I'm actually going to put this on the shelf, too. I really enjoyed this game. 14-year-old Mike in 2001, you probably would have put it in the box. But 2020 Mike, 32-year-old Mike, it's going on the shelf. I'm so glad we finally got to play it. And thanks, Mom, for finding this game for me all those years ago. And I finally played it and beat it. See? And not the copy that you bought me. But I finished it. And it's really good. If you get the chance, go out and play it. I mean, it's buy the 3DS version. I mean, because unless you have a GameCube, I mean, it will get ported to Switch at some point, I'm sure. Yeah. And when it does, I will be sharing this episode to everybody. So I can tell you, I'm predicting the future right now. But yeah, definitely go play it. It's going on the shelf. I'm so happy we played it. That's it.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's going to be one of those yearly traditions where every October I'm going to pop it in and at least play some of it.
We can play the second one.
It's less
all right, and then before we go to plugs, why don't we, Mike, since it's your pick, why don't you mention what we're talking about next week first?
We're playing an almost good game from 2002. Okay, it is a very good game. But we were playing Eternal Darkness. Nintendo's kind of saw this game. They're like, hey, we can do this better. So they had Silicon Knights make this actual spooky game.
It's a sim. Not a game to play when you're sleep deprived, though. I will tell you that.
We'll get into
Start
that.
Going insane yourself. We'll get there. We'll get there next week. I got plenty to say about that damn game. All right, and since Austen, you are a guest, why don't you go first and give another shout out to your podcast?
Sure. So my partner and I, Travis, my co-host partner, we run Trash Talk Podcast. Every week we pick a new topic. We usually pick like a movie that's in theaters. I guess not really the last couple months, but we usually do. Actually, theaters around me are starting to open, but I don't know if I want to risk my life to go see New Mutants.
I did.
Or we pick out a TV show or a video game. We've done some video game ones with you, Mike. Actually, no, we've done video games with one of your old hosts, and we've done Castlevania with you a couple times.
Twice. I'll come back for season 4.
Yep, hopefully they make it.
I don't know about hopefully, but I think they're going to.
Yeah. And and we do comics. Like we sometimes like review like an animated DC movie based off one of the comic books. So we'll review like the comic book and the animated adaptation because they're movies. They don't really do a good adaptation of the comics well at all, but their movies are pretty solid. Well, yeah, and all the time we do an episode every Monday. We drink while doing it. I've been drinking during this episode, which is why I'm slurring a little bit now. I've been sucking down this vinegar red wine. It's bagged wine, and my girlfriend put it in my fridge like 4 weeks ago, and I put it out, and it tastes a lot like vinegar. But yeah, Trash Talk Podcast, we're available on most podcasting platforms, and we discuss a lot of geek culture and new movies and stuff. So go check us out. And Mike sometimes shows up on our show.
Yes, and I will when season 4. I'm sure season 4 is coming at some point.
Yeah, at some point.
I just hope there's no more. Let's have a whole season of Alucard hanging out at the castle with people, with a bunch of with people, with siblings having sibling sex.
Yeah,
let's skip that. We don't need any of that again.
Apparently, they fired Warren Ellis, who was the showrunner and writer for the first 3 seasons, because of his his sexual misconduct. So,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
show.
I'd be better without him.
Yeah, it might be better.
Season 2 is good, but that third season, woo.
Yeah, that was a mess. But yeah, that's a good episode. People should go check us out. Mike came on our podcast to discuss season 3, and we pretty much trashed it the whole time.
Nope. I remember. It's been a while, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then also want to give another shout out to the podcast that I mentioned at the top of the show, Talk Games Chew Bubblegum. Adam America, who's a friend of the show, finally started his own podcast thanks to me. I encouraged him. I'm the reason that inspired him. So if you enjoyed that show, tell him thanks, Mike, for inspiring him. I had to, but no, I'm really glad for him. He just started. I listened to, so the first episode's up. The time you're hearing this, second episode should be either up or about to be up, depending on when Mike releases this on time or not. So, also want to give an awesome shout out to our intro and outro, courtesy of Bulby, aka Mike Stoney from his EP Bite the Bullet, song to Cool Kid Squad. Definitely go check him out. And if you enjoyed this episode, we have done other Mario episodes. Episode 78 was Super Mario Land. We covered Super Mario World in the early 80s, so definitely check that out. We also did Super Mario World 2 a long time ago, so check that out also. And if you enjoyed this show, because of course you did, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell anyone out there. It's a great way to help the show. Just let people know about games my mom found, and we can do more with the show eventually. And we also do comics, movies. We do mini episodes. We cover smaller games. There's lots of stuff for you to check out. We have a great Spooktember coming up, so definitely check out all our horror stuff that's coming out in the next month or two. And if you enjoyed this, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where I'm constantly posting new images of what's upcoming with the show. And I think that's all I need to spit out of my mouth today. So we will see you next time, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.